Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Joy of Puzzles. I have for you today a puzzle titled Hunsett Mill and the River Ant. It was published in 2020 by a company called Crazy Art. That's CRA-Z-Art. Alright, so Crazy Art was established in 2008 as a toy and stationery company. And they're located in New Jersey, but the story goes a bit further back than that. It's an offshoot from a family business started by the Rosen family back in 1923. The current CEO and the guy running Crazy Art is Larry Rosen, and he's the third generation in that role, kind of guiding the company. And it originally started out, again, toys and stationery, and then they had some mergers and some acquisitions and focused on other things. A lot of art supply stuff and candy, strangely. But in 2008, they kind of, we'll say, refocused the company, rebranded it, and now are a very large art supply and stationery supplier. And puzzles and toys somehow fall into that mix. The photographer for this image is not provided on the box. It is a Kodak Premium puzzle image. So my best guess is that this picture is from a contest winner. I know Kodak does things like that all the time, or perhaps some sort of staff photographer. But it is a licensed image from Kodak. The puzzle itself was manufactured someplace in China. The details are not really given. It is a 1,000-piece puzzle, and it took 8.5 hours to build, which I would consider a normal build time for a 1,000-piece puzzle. So let's talk strategy. To me, this is a classic puzzle style that matches puzzles primarily manufactured in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. In that respect, they are like the old Big Ben and the Milton Bradley puzzles, where it's an image, it's a photograph, not something else some artist created. And I'm sure there are some proper terms that, had I attended art school, I would know about how to describe this type of image, but I'll make my best little uneducated stab at it. When I say a classic image, I mean it's broken up into 3 distinct areas. There's a foreground, a middle ground, and the skyline, the background. And what I find is that with these puzzles, there's a focus and a boundary between the areas. So the first third are large, normally bold colors or something, but the scale of them is bigger. It makes the pieces easy to find. You're dealing with large flowers. And then you have the middle ground with some sort of distinct image, in this case a windmill and a house and a boat. And then you have the skyline, usually puffy clouds or plain blue, depending on how difficult they want the puzzle to be. So, to me, classic puzzle. The approach I took then was my traditional approach that I've used for far too many decades to count. The middle piece with the bold images, in this case again the windmill and the house, they kind of become the obvious thing to build. There's a pond with some reflective images, and you end up with these natural transitions and boundaries between these areas of the puzzle. So once the middle part of the puzzle is basically built, because it contains all the really distinct images, you then have boundaries. You have the boundary in the foreground between the large, bold flowers and the pond and the kind of change in scale of the image. And then you have the boundary with the sky and the tree line. So then it's kind of pick your poison. What do you want to go after once the middle is built? I went with the foreground, the big flowers. There were some portions of it amongst the red flowers that made this pretty easy. And easy, I don't mean it was quick, but it was not a struggle. It felt correct. It felt like I was always making progress. And then I ended with the traditional sky pieces and the puffy clouds. They were nice enough to include clouds. That makes a sky much easier, and there's also a hue shift from the lower part of the puzzle to the upper part of the puzzle. So the sky was really not the grind of hunt and peck that sometimes you run into. Alright, let's review the puzzle. I'm going to review the puzzle in 4 categories on a scale of 1 to 5. The first category is the puzzle material quality itself. And I found this puzzle to be slightly subpar. I'm going to give this a 2. The material was flimsy, the little tabs, there was clear delamination in many places of the image from the baseboard, the paperboard itself. And if you looked at the pieces on the edge, you can see that there's gaps and defects in the raw material. So, giving that a 2. The puzzle cut quality and design, I'm also going to give this a 2, slightly below average. Now, the design is the traditional shapes, nothing odd about these shapes, but the cut quality left a lot to be desired. There were lots of pieces stuck together right out of the box, and stuck together so tightly that you tore the material underneath when separating them. So that is a major detraction from the quality for me. The third category is the difficulty. Well, at 8.5 hours, this is, to me, right where it should be. I'm going to give it a 3. If the cut quality and the material had been better, I probably would have done this in less time. I would have not fussed with pieces or struggled with where they fit. So the difficulty is a 3. Yeah, if it had been better manufactured, I would give this a 2 because the image is pretty easy. The fourth and final category, the most subjective of all the categories, is frameability. My very personal opinion of, is this art? If I was the type of person that built a puzzle only once, would I seal this and keep it forever and hang it somewhere? And I'm going to give this one a 3. It is a beautiful picture. It makes me think of the Netherlands instead of England, but this is in England. Obviously windmills exist in lots of places, and had those been tulips in the foreground, this definitely would have been the Netherlands. So it is a very pretty picture. I could see this hanging somewhere for this, if that's the type of artwork you would hang in your house. It's not a painting per se, but there's, plenty of places to hang beautiful pictures. Certainly if I took the picture, I'd be very proud and might print a copy somewhere or use it as a screensaver on my desktop, that type of thing. So it's a 3 for me. It's definitely frameable, but perhaps not something that would hang in an art museum. Well, overall, what am I going to give this? It's not linear, and that being said, I'm actually going to give this a 2. As much as I find the image appealing and this style of puzzle, this classic photograph style, right up my alley, the puzzle material quality and the cut quality really detract from my desire to build this again. And it being a 2, I probably won't build it again. But if I were just looking at the box, if I didn't recall, say it's 20 years later, I go, oh, that's a really nice puzzle, I should build that. Well, hopefully I'm smart enough to go back and watch my own videos and realize, oh no, there's a reason I don't want to build this again, because the cut quality and the paper quality are subpar. So I'm giving it a 2. I probably won't build it again based on those factors, even though I, again, liked it from a build perspective and an image perspective. What else can I say about the puzzle as we come here to the end? It really harkens back to, I keep bringing up Big Ben and Milton Bradley, and I still own a lot of those puzzles from a kid, and it has a real nostalgia in that respect of the types of puzzles that were only available back then. Certainly the market has broadened and is more accepting to new styles and new puzzle piece shapes and all those things. So I was a little disappointed about the quality, I had higher hopes for this and would have loved to have given it a higher rating, but I simply can't. At the end here, you're going to see me take the edge pieces and put them in a little bag. That's just to save myself 20 minutes of sort time. I shouldn't say myself, because I probably won't build it again. It'll save someone else 20 minutes of sort time when I loan this out. And then the rest of the pieces I put in a big Ziploc bag, just in case you drop the box. You don't want those things to spill everywhere and ruin the puzzle forever. That's it, folks. I appreciate everyone that takes 10 minutes out of a day to watch one of these videos, and if you liked it, go ahead and click the like, maybe even subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to bringing you more puzzle videos in the very near future. Thanks again, everyone. Bye.